The legal case designated ST006 of 2015 is under intense scrutiny. It commenced its journey through the courts in the year 2015. From its very inception, serious questions have been raised. These questions challenge its fundamental legal basis. The allegations suggest that the entire proceeding was legally void. This means it was invalid from the very beginning. Such a declaration of nullity, ab initio, carries profound consequences. It indicates that the case, in the eyes of the law, never truly existed. The implications of this assertion are far-reaching and significant for all involved. The specific details surrounding the filing of ST006 of 2015 are pivotal. There are strong allegations pointing towards major foundational errors. These critical errors are said to have occurred right at the point of the case's initiation. The case, known formally as ST006 of 2015, possesses a distinct procedural history. This entire history is now subject to rigorous examination. This examination is being pursued with considerable intensity by various concerned parties. It involves not only legal professionals, but also extends to public oversight bodies tasked with maintaining integrity. The legal term ab initio plays a crucial role in understanding this situation. This Latin phrase translates to "from the beginning." When a legal case is declared void ab initio, it signifies that it lacked legal validity from its outset. It was effectively a nullity in the eyes of the law. Consequently, no lawful or binding actions could legitimately stem from such a flawed proceeding. This core legal principle is central to the arguments surrounding ST006 of 2015. It directly affects every subsequent step taken within the case, including any judgments rendered or appeals filed. The claims being made against the legitimacy of ST006 of 2015 are exceptionally severe. These are not considered to be minor procedural missteps or trivial errors of form. Instead, they point to a deep structural flaw embedded in the very core of the case. Such fundamental flaws possess the inherent capacity to unravel entire legal proceedings, no matter how far they have advanced. The integrity of the judicial process itself is therefore brought into question. This is precisely why a comprehensive investigation into the matter is being urgently sought by affected parties. The truth must be meticulously uncovered. The first major flaw identified is strikingly clear and goes to the heart of procedural fairness. The legal case ST006 of 2015 was reportedly filed incorrectly. Specifically, it was initiated using an improper or incorrect name for the filing party. This constitutes a foundational error in legal practice. All legal actions must meticulously state the correct names of the involved parties. This precision is essential to clearly identify who is bringing the claim. It is equally essential to identify who is being sued or responded to. An incorrect name at this stage introduces fatal ambiguity and renders the filing defective from the start. This initial defect is of a most serious nature. Another critical issue contributing to the case's invalidity subsequently arose and has been highlighted. The real parties, those individuals or entities with a direct and substantial interest in the matter, were allegedly absent. They were never formally present before the court to represent their interests. Their rights and obligations were nevertheless directly impacted by the proceedings. However, they did not have the opportunity to participate or be heard. This apparent exclusion is a significant departure from the principles of due process. Courts are obligated to hear from all legitimately concerned parties. Their absence fundamentally taints the proceedings and calls into question the court's jurisdiction over them. This is a deep-seated problem. Furthermore, it is alleged that consent for the legal action and the basis for legal representation were fabricated. This is an exceptionally grave charge with serious implications. For any legal representation to be valid, lawyers must obtain clear and unambiguous consent from their clients. They must be properly and genuinely authorized to act on their client's behalf. If this essential consent was indeed falsified, then the entire structure of representation was a sham. Such actions would inevitably mislead the court and deceive other parties involved. This undermines the very pursuit of justice and suggests a deliberate attempt at deception. These actions could constitute serious professional misconduct and can certainly void a case. The role of a Mr. Thompson in the proceedings is also specifically questioned. He appeared in court purporting to represent the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA. However, this representation is claimed to have violated prior agreements and understandings. These pre-existing agreements reportedly involved individual officers of an entity. They specifically concerned matters of payment and the legitimate expectations surrounding legal representation. This alleged breach of agreement introduces another layer of complexity and doubt. It strongly suggests a lack of good faith in the conduct of the litigation. It further erodes the already fragile legitimacy of the case EST-006 of 2015. These combined flaws are undeniably substantial and far-reaching. The accumulation of these fundamental flaws has a clear and unavoidable legal consequence. The entire proceedings of EST-006 of 2015 consequently lacked lawful standing. Lawful standing is a basic threshold requirement in any legal system. It dictates that a party bringing a case before a court must have a legitimate and direct interest in the subject matter. An incorrect filing name immediately jeopardizes this standing. The absence of the real interested parties from the court process further negates it. Moreover, fabricated consent and unauthorized representation completely destroy any claim to legitimate standing. The case, therefore, had no proper legal footing from its inception. As a direct result of this lack of standing, all outcomes derived from EST-006 of 2015 are inherently defective. This crucial point includes any judgments that may have been rendered by the initial court. It also extends to any subsequent appeals that were pursued based on those initial judgments. This nullity affects appeals even to the highest courts, such as the Court of Appeal. It would similarly taint any further filings or considerations at the Privy Council. The legal principle is straightforward. If the foundational premise of a case is void, then everything built upon that foundation inevitably fails. It creates an unbreakable chain reaction of invalidity. These pervasive defects are generally considered incurable by later actions. A legal case that is deemed void ab initio was, in essence, never legally alive. It possessed no genuine legal existence or validity from the moment it was filed. Therefore, no valid or enforceable orders, judgments, or decisions could legitimately emerge from it. This is a core concept in jurisprudence with significant practical effect. Such a case is not merely voidable, meaning it is valid until formally set aside by a court. Instead, it is treated as though it never occurred in the first place. This has profound and sweeping implications for all matters connected to it. Any rights purportedly created or obligations imposed by such a case are effectively illusory and without legal basis. The pervasive nature of this invalidity spreads inexorably through every single stage of the purported legal process. It fundamentally affected the initial filing documents and their legitimacy. It tainted any court hearings that took place under the guise of this case. It effectively nullified any judgments that were pronounced by the court. Crucially, it also invalidated any appeals that were lodged based on those flawed judgments. This comprehensive failure occurs because the essential foundation, lawful standing and proper procedure was entirely missing. Therefore, any attempt to rely on or enforce outcomes from EST-006 of 2015 would be an attempt to enforce a legal nullity which is inherently unjust and legally untenable. The entire structure is fundamentally unsound. In light of these grave allegations, a formal request for a comprehensive investigation has been made. This is a necessary and appropriate response to the situation. The allegations surrounding EST-006 of 2015 are far too serious to be overlooked or dismissed. A thorough and impartial investigation is required to establish the full truth of what transpired. Such an investigation can definitively assess the legal validity of the case and its proceedings. This process is vital not only for the parties directly affected, but also for maintaining public trust and confidence in the legal system. The system must always strive to be fair. It must also be transparently seen to be fair by all citizens. This necessitates a meticulous examination of the facts. Specific, relevant bodies have been called upon to conduct this crucial investigation. The Law Association of Trinidad and Tobago is one such body. It has the responsibility to oversee the conduct of legal professionals. Allegations of breaches of the Legal Profession Act fall squarely within its remit. The Integrity Commission is another key institution identified for this task. It is empowered to look into matters of alleged abuse of process. It also has the mandate to examine instances of public deception by those in positions of trust. Furthermore, appropriate courts and other judicial authorities must also act decisively. They possess the inherent power to correct their own records and to restore rights that have been unjustly infringed. This matter transcends the specifics of a single case. It is a fundamental issue. It directly concerns the integrity and application of the rule of law. The rule of law itself depends entirely on fair, transparent, and legitimate legal processes. When these foundational principles are undermined or subverted, the very basis of a just and orderly society is threatened. The issues raised in ST006 of 2015 are not about minor technical errors or trivial mistakes. They are about core legal principles that form the bedrock of our justice system. These vital principles must be rigorously protected and consistently upheld. Ensuring their sanctity is crucial for all. Therefore, decisive action is urgently needed to rectify this deeply problematic situation. The circumstances surrounding ST006 of 2015 demand comprehensive rectification and remedy. The official legal record must be accurately corrected to reflect the true nature of these proceedings. Critically, the rights of any officers or parties who were improperly excluded or misrepresented must be fully restored. Justice must be the ultimate and overriding outcome of this process. Acknowledging the potential nullity of the case is the essential first step. Following this, undoing the harm caused by these flawed proceedings is the necessary next step. This will reaffirm the integrity of the legal system. This is essential for the well-being of society.